All right, so if you're sculpting, the first thing you need to do, psst, 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 up here. If you're sculpting, the first thing you need to do is you're going to need an armature. So this is a piece of sculpture wire. It's taped to this piece of foam core, and the idea is that it just helps hold your clay up, and you'll be glad for it, trust me, because it gets kind of soggy. All right, so the first thing that you need to do is, if your bottom of your sculpture is black, you're gonna wanna use the Sharpie, the metallic Sharpies from the Drawing Center, and you're gonna write your teacher's letter and your name. My name is Dr. A. Please do not write Dr. A on your sculpture, all right? Then you can return this to the Drawing Center. All right, first thing you need to know about this Model Magic, this Crayola Model Magic air dry clay, is it's great at sticking to itself and sticking to paper. It is not great at sticking to non-porous surfaces, like metal, for example. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll a coil, okay? I'm gonna roll a coil shape, which is like a long hot dog, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna press this clay like a hot dog in a bun, okay? Just gonna press it like a hot dog in a bun. And you're gonna say, Dr. A, that doesn't look anything like my person. And you are right, you'd be right, absolutely. So if I have a little extra up here, I'm just gonna wrap it around so that I can start making that sort of head shape. So that little loop at the top, I've learned from experience that that little loop at the top really helps hold your clay sculpture up. Now I have enough clay that I can actually start sculpting it. I want to make the head just a little bit bigger. So if you notice, I made a little flat piece and I just laid it around the top. That kind of helps smooth it out. And then I just need to decide what direction I want my character to face. I kind of like to have my character kind of facing the corner because I am going to add a background. If you imagine, the background is going to be here. So if my sculpture is facing a corner, that makes it easy to add the background. I'm going to go ahead and pinch the nose and then take my finger and roll up on it like this, kind of pat it down to make it a little bit more nose shaped. That gives a really great beginning to a face. It's not the perfect face, but it is a great beginning to a face, kind of gives you an idea. Okay, now I've got a lollipop head. So now I need to add another leg. So I'm gonna come off from the side. First, I'm gonna go ahead and get my foot sort of pointed towards the front. So right now, I'm not terribly concerned with making all the tiny, beautiful details of my character. I'm just trying to get 2 arms, 2 legs, and a body and a head. Okay, that's my first goal. So for this one, I know I'm going to need another foot. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick that to the, remember it sticks to paper pretty well. So I've stuck it to the paper of the foam core, and then I'm gonna have it come up here, and remember that the top half of your figure is the same as the bottom half. So I need to make sure that I'm being mindful of those proportions. And then I can go ahead and put the arms on. And now I have a whole person, okay? Now, you'll watch the arms and you'll see what I mean about squishy stuff, okay? All right, she's got a little spot right here that's kind of thin, so I'm gonna just go ahead and wrap this around. I do wanna show you a couple of tricks with sculpting. So this sculpture is matching my drawing. Some things I can glue on. Like, let's say I wanted to make her hair curly. I probably could find something that would do curly hair. If I wanted to do her bandolier, I could do that. First thing I wanna do is just sort of mark where her clothing starts and stops, okay? So for example, I'm gonna roll another really skinny coil. I don't have to try to make little clothes that are gonna actually dress her. I just need to show where her clothing stops. So for example, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this little coil around where her boots, where the top of her boots are. Do you see that?
Sort of.
Okay. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So that's just gonna say, okay, when I'm painting, I know that everything below that little bump is gonna be boot colored and everything above it is going to be pants colored. Does that make sense? Now, you might have this problem. Your pants might fall down a lot, which sounds hilarious. But remember that this other leg doesn't have a wire in it. And what happens a lot is gravity, just like gravity is pulling the hands down. Remember, they used to be up like this and now they're more like that. Okay, gravity is pulling those hands down, and gravity will do the same thing with other parts. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. I want her to have a nice big utility belt. So I'm gonna make a coil and I'm gonna flatten it out. And I'm gonna go ahead and put that utility belt around her like that. And that way I have this really cool utility belt. And then I can add things to it from the really cool stuff box, or I can just add some little, you know, I can take tiny little coils and I can just add some little things on her belt right now. Okay. I can also, if her bandolier is really important, I can add those things. I don't get too stressed out about details on the hands. I just kind of try to make a big side and a little side. So you can see I'm kind of pinching it so that it's like this. And then I just sort of flatten out one side and make the other side the thumb. Think of it like a Lego hand. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm just gonna take my thumb, and some people, if you don't have a thumbnail, you can use your scissors and you can just make a little snip in this clay. And then you can just press the other, one side big and one side small, and it makes a little Lego hand. This is great, like if you wanna be holding something, super helpful, right? All right, now if you notice, watch what happens. Do you see what the hands are doing? They're slowly like drooping, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and put her, I think I'm gonna put her bandolier on her. If you need more clay, you are certainly welcome to get another half of Model Magic clay. I just cut them in half because it's super easier. It's a lot easier to open them. I'm gonna go ahead and put her bandolier on. So I'm gonna just take a coil and flatten it. And then that seems kind of big, so I'm just gonna stretch it out a little bit more. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stretch that around until it meets the back. And again, you can take a little, take your scissors and kind of end it like that, okay? She's got these sort of big shoulder pads. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these big shoulder pads. I probably should have put that on before I put the bandolier on, but I'm just gonna kind of put it on next to her. So you can see it goes kind of under it, okay? And then I can add things to it if I want to. Again, if you want to show where the sleeves stop, so you know which part is skin color and which part is going to be clothing. You don't have to dress her. You don't have to make little clothes for your person. Mine happens to be a lady. Major Artista is her name. So it looks like a bracelet, but actually when I paint this, that's just gonna show me where the skin color starts and stops. Does that make sense? All right, I can also add some of her pencils on her bandolier if I wanna do that. I can add, I don't have to add as many as are in my drawing. I can add some of her little cup portals. So I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna roll a little circle and flatten it. And then I think that's enough detail that it kind of gives you the information. And if I want, I can make hair. So there's a couple of different ways you can make hair. You can roll a flat sheet like this. You can kind of pinch it out, called a slab, and you could sort of lay the slab over and kind of make this long hair thing going on here, okay? Or you can make, she's got quite a lot of hair, so I think what I need are a lot of little coils like this. And I'm gonna go ahead and make her hairline kind of come around like this, so you kind of get the idea of where her hair stops. Kind of looks like she's got her hair in curlers. It's kind of funny, okay? And then what you can do is you can actually take this Model Magic and just twist. See how I did it? You can just sort of twist. And so her hair is really, really curly. So this might take a little while to twist, and it's okay. If you don't get to this today, it's all right. You can still work on it next time we're together, and you can just, so I'm just gonna take those twists and I'm just gonna fill in that little hair coil there. So I'm just taking the coils and twisting them, and I'm gonna keep going until I just sort of fill this in, and then she has this wild curly hair. So that's gonna take me a little bit of time, right, to fill all that in. Or you might say, gee, I think I might find something that looks kind of like curly hair in the really cool stuff box. And it's okay if I leave some of these pieces sticking out because she also carries a lot of pencils in her hair. So there's lots of different ways to do this. Okay, I'm gonna keep working on this. And yes, I'm going to let you get started.